Nice. Good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invitation, and let's try to do a good talk.
Yeah. So then you're Leonardo from Cafundo?
Cafundo, yeah. Here in Brazil, we call Cafundo, but I know that this O is difficult for the English speakers.
Yeah.
I'm the executive producer of the studio, so I'm managing all the projects and handling all the things that we are doing right now. So the studio started in 2008, so we have 13 years from now, and we started as an animation company, animation studio. So we developed a lot of animations for advertising and a lot of demands and clients. And then we started to be demanded to develop animation for games, for some games. So we developed some characters, backgrounds, animations by itself for games. And then we thought, well, maybe we can develop our own games because it's a nice thing to do. And we like try to understood a little bit about the market and how the games market, the games industry works. And then, and I think it was, 2017, we started to develop our own big game, our own project. And that's it, Tetragon. It's available now. We launched it last month. So yeah, it's a long way.
No, I started playing, I guess, whenever it launched a few weeks ago.
Nice.
But then last night I started over and like actually paid more attention and tried to like figure out what's going on because there's a story behind it, but it's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool stuff about it. What do you want to explain, I guess, what Tetragon is?
The idea of the game is a puzzle game, and it all works inside a square world. So you are trapped inside this world. And the background story, the main story, is that this world is made just of geometric elements. So there is no organic element inside this world. So there was an organic element, and we call it Tetragon. So it's a jewel that had the power to maintain the balance of the world. Because when you play, you can realize that all the levels are like planes, one in front of the other. So the whole game is like a wormhole. So you're always going on and on and on, and you can see the next level from the level that you are playing right now. So when you enter in the portal, your goal, your objective in every level is to get into the portal, make your way to get into the portal. And when you enter to the portal, you see that the next level comes in, and the level that you were gets out. So your objective, your goal as a player, is that you are Lucius, and Lucius is going after his son that was captured by the world of Tetragon, because now your son, Jerry, we call it Jerry, is the only organic element that is trapped in the final level of the game, maintaining the balance of the world. So when the Tetragon was scattered because a creature of this world tries to steal this gem because he wants all the power of this gem head. The gem shattered into several pieces, broke into several pieces, and the world begins to collapse. So the main power of the world came into our world, into the earth, and captured your son. And now your son is trapped, is in the final level of the game, and he is the thing that is maintaining the balance of the world. So your quest as a player is to go into all the levels and recover your son to get out of this world. So when you are playing, the wheel of this world, the power of this world starts to talk with you, and he said, man, get out of here, you not belong to this world. Tetragon is not your world, you don't have nothing over here. So you are like, you need to realize if you are in a good place or not. And also we had how can I say, it's like a trap level, because there's a level that you came, and then the world of Tetragon opens a portal, and he said, oh, this is a portal, so you can get out of here and you can return to Earth, go on. And if you do that, you get game over, and it's not the final level. So it's like a
test or a trick.
Easter egg, yeah, Easter egg, a test, yeah, a trick that we put inside the game to give this aspect of the whole story.
No, I noticed, I guess early on when I was playing, how you see, because once you beat the level, it like zooms into the next one that's behind you. But I noticed that mechanic.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool, how you see the next levels behind, and you just keep going through levels. But also, I guess something that's cool about this game and a lot of puzzle games are how they start small with, like, I think you learn each mechanic like slowly. So at first there's just the one, I think, the turning the room or the lifting different spots in the floor, but then it becomes more like a matching game also within it. But it's cool how you like slowly introduce new mechanics to the puzzles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we try to teach the player how to move and how to interact with this world. Of course, the first levels are much more easier, because you are understanding this world, you are getting trying to understand what's happening, and then the thing starts to getting harder, because you are getting into the final level, so it needs to be harder. And then we have a lot of different mechanics, but the main mechanics of the world are like two mechanics. The first one is that you need to rotate, you need to interact with platforms and towers to make your way to get into the portal. And the second one is that we have some torrents, some glowing rocks, and when you reach those torrents, those rocks, you can rotate the world 90 degrees left or right. So when you do that, you have to take care, because if your character fall down so high, he'll gonna die. So you have to like build a way so you can rotate the world, you can spin the world, and still continue the gameplay of that level. So we have these two mechanics that are the main of the whole game. That is the platforms that you need to move, and the torrents that you need to rotate, and that's it.
Oh, if you had, I guess, other puzzle games or maybe puzzles within games that were big influences on you while making this game, or like things you might have remembered, because even like big games like Uncharted and stuff have like small puzzle levels, but then there's some games that are just straight puzzle games.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we had like Monument Valley is a nice game that we look into and try to get the ideas that they presented into the game. And of course there are other games, but the main thing that we thought when we were developing the game was that we want the game to be played by everyone. We don't want a game that you need to interact too much with the characters. We need to understand so hard, so deep the story, because we had more than 100 pages of lore, of story of this game. So we had a lot of definitions about the characters, about the main character, about the world, about how each background works, and so on. But we decided to cut a lot of things to make the game more straightforward. So if you want to play as a casual game, it is okay. You can go until the end and that's it. And if you want to interact, if you want to know more about the game, about the world, about the characters, you can try to interact with them, and then you have a glimpse, and then you have a deeper story and what's happening and why you are there. And now we are starting the development of Tetragon 2. So our idea for Tetragon 2 is, of course, to get feedback from the players from the Tetragon 1 and understand what is working, what people likes, what people don't like, and what is nice and what is like a pain. And we have a lot of feedbacks from players and from streamers and YouTubers and a lot of different people, and that's very nice to see these feedbacks and these commentaries. And we're gonna try to get the best of it and develop a nicer game for the second version.
And there's lots of, I guess, in maybe not all the levels, but I noticed in some of them there's like extra stuff you can get on this, like there was one that had like the tunnel, and then you go to another part of the level to grab, but you don't have to do that, which is like, it's for the completionist, or maybe to get more story, like you were saying, to kind of find those Easter eggs.
We had a thing that not everyone knows, but we have two final endings in the game. So if you can get into the final level with all the pieces of the gen, I think we have 17 or 13 pieces of the gen scattered around the levels. So if you can collect all the pieces and go into the final level, you're gonna have an ending. And if you get into the final level and you don't have all the pieces of the gen, you get a different ending. So this is like an Easter egg that represents what we want to communicate for the second level. So when because we're gonna have some more publishers up, some more launchings on the next months, because we launched the game for PC and consoles now, and we're gonna launch the game, I think, in 2 months for the Asian market. This is not a thing that we were able to handle until now. So it will probably be launched in 2 months, and we're gonna launch the game for mobile in the beginning of next year. So our idea, our plan is to be able to maintain people playing and understanding more and getting more content for the game until we have the Tetragon 2. So when we launch Tetragon 2, maybe you're gonna need to play Tetragon 1 again and understand and review the story, and that's why this is happening over here, and so on. So we have this plan. I don't know if you'll be able to accomplish, but that's the idea.
That's cool. And then I guess, I noticed, I guess, since the game itself uses just like the square box, and then there's like the sort of background of the trees or whatever, depending on the world you're in on the sides, that it would be a good mobile game too. And then I even checked if it was on mobile yet, but I guess you guys are working on it.
Yeah, in fact, we developed the game at first for mobile. We developed with mobile in mind. And when we started to talk with publishers, we decided to go first to consoles. So we changed our plan. And that's why the game have this aspect of mobile screens with these arrows and things like that, because we had this modification during the process. The game was already done. Just to let you know, we developed the game in 2018 until half of 2019, and we spent, it was like a 1 year and 2 months developing the game, and we spent like 1 year more negotiation and having meetings with publishers to be able to launch the game worldwide and to make all the localizations that we want and to port it to consoles and then we had the pandemic process in the beginning of 2020 and it was a mess, and our idea was to launch the game last year, but it was not possible, so we delayed some time.
Well, it's good you had all the work on the game done, I guess, before everything started.
Yeah, there's plenty of work.
I guess when you were in animation studio more and like helping people make games, what did you learn? What did you learn like from looking from the outside to now like making your own game?
What I can say is that the animation industry is very different from the games industry. The times of the development, the budgets, and the kind of spaces that you have to publish your product, your ideas. But one thing that I think we did it on the right side is that we developed Tetragon not as a game, but as an intellectual property. So it is an IP for us, and we want to explore this IP in all different medias and ways that we can. So we had this approach from the animation industry, because when you develop an animation series for TV like so, or for Netflix or wherever, your idea is that animation, that content can be licensed and can be spread around the world in all different aspects and materials and possibilities. So when we started to develop our own project, our own game project, we had this in mind, and we think that we made a good decision, because we are now starting Tetragon 2, and we have ideas to port this game to board games. We had a conversation last week with a company that wants to, it's not a port, but to develop the idea of the game for board games and for other possibilities. So this is a thing that I saw that not all indie developers have in mind when they started to develop their own games. Of course, the AAA industry of games always want to do that, and they build their projects to go into this direction. But this is a thing that we get from the animation, and of course the animation aspects of the game, the character, the movements, and the transitions between the words and so on. Because we had in fact, our team of animation projects are bigger than the game one for now. We have like, I don't know, 40 people working with animation and 15 in games. So that's much more for animation.
So this is sort of like a little spin-off of the company to make games and keep doing the animation, but also games.
Yeah, I can say that the spin-off was when we decided to go with our own projects, because we started as a production service company. So we develop a lot of animation and also games. We develop some games for other clients as a service, as a production service. And then we started to develop our own games, but small games for mobile and so on, tries to understand a bit more about the industry. And then we decided to develop our own intellectual properties in these two parallel aspects, animation and games. So now we have some animation series being developed, and also this game that for us is big, is not a small size considering our team.
And then do you think maybe in the future you'd want to turn some of your animation properties into games even? Like,
yeah, sure. We are already doing that. When we started to think on an animation project, or when we received some project for animation development, we already think on how can we turn it into a game, or the opposite side. So Tetragon, we are now starting to think on how can we turn it into an animation or into a comic book or things like that. So this crossover is very common, and we want to do that. Absolutely.
Okay. And then I was gonna ask you about like your next projects, but I guess it's Tetragon 2 that you're working on.
Tetragon 2, yeah. Sure.
And then I wanted to ask you about more about yourself. Like, so you grew up in Brazil.
Yeah, I'm from Brazil. I grew up in Brazil, and I studied design in the university. So I'm a designer, and then I make a post graduation in marketing, and finally in branding. I have a master's in branding, and yeah, then I started the company with some friends in 2008. We were in 3, and sometime later, one of the guys decided to get out and do different things. And then like 1 year, 2 years later, the other guy also left the company. And then I stayed alone as a I don't know, CEO or whatever. But we have a great team. We have a lot of directors and animators and illustrators and scripters and writers that has, because Brazil has this appealing on creativity. So it is a nice thing. It's real. People are really creative here in Brazil, but we have some problems with managing and spreadsheets and make things on the times that we define it. And our goal was to try to get the best practice and implement into our studio. So that's why we are here since 2008. We are 13 years developing a lot of different projects, and yeah, I'm happy what we
No, that's very cool.
be able to accomplish until now.
Yeah. And did you grow up playing video games, or you got into them later on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I played a lot. I had like Super Nintendo, I had Atari, I had Mega Drive. I don't know, Mega Drive is a common console for
the Sega.
Yeah,
Sega, it was the
yeah.
Genesis here.
Yeah, that's it. And then I got into the PlayStation world. So I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and now PlayStation 4, and I'm managing to get PlayStation 5. And then we started to play in PC and also mobile. I play a lot in mobile. PC, not anymore, because I'm using Mac for some time, so there's no much nice games for Apple iOS. But yeah, I play a lot in console, PlayStation, and also mobile.
And was it hard to find like certain games when you were a kid growing up in Brazil, or was it pretty easy to find what you guys wanted, or what was the gaming scene like, I guess?
Yeah, no, it was not difficult, because we had in the Nintendo era, we had I don't know if you call it tapes. Here in Brazil, we call it tapes.
Cartridges.
Cartridges. Yeah, and then we moved it to CDs, so it was pretty easy. And now everything is almost digital. Online. Yeah, digital and online. So it was not. It's not difficult. It was not. I can say that it was not affordable. So it was pricey at some time, but then it started to get more cost effective, and it was not a problem, because We try to, it's a funny thing, because we decided into our friends which game everyone we wanna buy, and then we decide, so you're gonna buy like the soccer game, I wanna buy the fight game, and so on, and then we
Yeah, you do
exchange
the
the game
trade.
with each other. Yeah, we did the
Mhm.
trade, and yeah, we make our way to do that.
Yeah, I have friends that I still do that with, or that I know they're more into like a certain type of game, but I don't know if I'm going to be into it. So I'm like, I'll trade you this game that I really liked, and then I'll try that, and they usually end up liking it.
Yeah,
And it's always
that's
been
right.
that way. And then you went to, well, you said you went to school for design and branding and marketing. Did you want to open, did your company start with more like advertising, marketing, and branding, or it was always going to be animation and
No, it was always focused on animation, but
Mhm.
animation for advertising service. So
Mhm.
we did a lot of like TV commercials and things like that here in Brazil. So we were just focused on animation, but then we started to be demanded for animations for other medias, like, I don't know, mobile events, uh, and then sometime someone came to us with a demand to develop an animation for a game, in fact, to develop all the visual aspect of the game, all the
Mhm.
art style of the game, and so on. And then it was our first time, so we made like fell in love with that kind of development, and then we haven't stopped it anymore. So
Mhm.
we came into that idea and tries to do our work to be able to develop our own games and so on.
Mhm. Yeah, I did copywriting for a while, and I do it freelance still for advertising, but
Yeah,
it was always cool to when you work on like better like projects that you care about, or even just making like writing a script for a video or something cool,
yeah,
more
yeah,
than
that's
just
right.
writing like a Facebook post
Yeah,
or designing like something that
that's
people are
it.
going to see in a store. I guess what are your influences in your art style and
Yeah, in fact, I'm not a designer
okay.
anymore. So I used to design in the beginning of the company
Hmm.
and to do the animation aspect. And I've never been a good drawing guy. So I was more on the technological aspects of motion design and things like that. But uh, just in the initial years of the studio, I get into the managing aspects, and then I'm here until now. So I'm not an artist
Hmm.
anymore. I have the background of an artist. I have the background of the design aspects, but I'm not a designer, not a game designer or a developer.
Hmm.
And we have a great team of designers and artists and illustrators and so on. But one thing that is nice to say maybe is that my first trip to Europe was in 2004, and at that time I was in the university doing
Hmm.
my design degree, and I was like, I really liked Escher
Yeah.
uh, Escher paintings.
Hmm.
So he was a painting sculptor and artist. I think it was, I don't know, 1950, 1940, things like that. And I remember that I saw a book from Escher in Holland, because he was a Holland uh, guy. He grew up in Holland,
Hmm.
and and then I bought that book, and it is a huge book. And then I stayed like 30 days walking and in doing my trip around Europe with that weight book in my luggage. So it was a pain at that time, but I still have this book. And
Wow.
Tetragon is at some point influenced by their work,
Yeah.
because we have that kind of things that
You can see it like multiple ways.
yeah, that's it. That's the
Mhm.
idea.
I think I bought a small MC Escher book when I was at the MoMA in New York, but like a tiny
Yeah,
one. I think it's cool that you're a creative person that's running the company also, because you want, instead of just saying like I want to being a numbers person or someone that just wants to get like the most money out of a game or something, you want to make the best game probably, and like you still have the design eye so you can see things and
yeah,
make
yeah.
changes, not just change things based on what you think.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Because what I saw is that in independent game studios, most of the people are focused on art or development, and it's not common to have a business person in charge of the business aspects. So sometimes the guy from the art starts to negotiate with publishers. Sometimes the guy that handles the development aspects, and it's not a good thing. So I have this background, but I'm now mostly more focused on the managing aspects. But I can understand and I can see when something is not good or things like that. So yeah, it's a real nice thing.
Yeah. No, I've talked to a few people from like really small teams, and every time they're like, this is the CEO of this indie company. I think like, oh, they're gonna be like a CEO, but then it's the person making the game. It's just there's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one or two people there. So they're like learning to do everything at once
Yeah,
together.
this is not a good practice.
Yeah. um, that's what do you like to do outside of gaming for hobbies or for fun or to
Yeah.
recharge?
uh, I like to read. I like to play tennis. I'm playing a lot of tennis nowadays, because as we are working remotely, we, because of the pandemic, we had a building here in Brazil, in Florianopolis. Is an island where we started the company. It was a very nice place. People loved to be there, but because of the pandemic, we decided to close the office, so we don't have an office anymore. So people are working from home since March of last year, and then we don't have a specific time to work. So when we were in the office, we worked like 9 to 5 every Monday to Friday, and somewhat. And when decided to stay in home office, we don't have a specific timeline to work anymore. So I can play tennis at 2 p.m. or at 9 a.m. and it doesn't matter. You just need to do your work, and that's it. So it's, for me, it's much better, and the team is also liking. So now we have people spread all around Brazil and even other countries.
Have people moved away, I guess, or moved around more, or maybe you
Yeah.
just can hire people from everywhere since
Yeah,
you're working this way.
that's it.
And then I guess, what's your favorite types of games to play? Is it mostly like puzzle type games, or you just play everything, or action games?
No, in fact, I like puzzle games. I play a lot of puzzle games. I was playing one even today, that is The Room. I think you already know. It's like an enigma game, so you have to solve puzzles. But I also really like AAA games like GTA or Red Dead Redemption, or now I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn. And it was like hours and hours of playing. It's a huge game, and it's a very beautiful game. And I saw a video about the studio Guerrilla that developed the game, and it's a nice trajectory. So now I'm playing this game. Yeah.
No, I played Horizon when it came out, but I've been wanting to go back to it now that I have the PS5 to like see it before the new one. But I'll probably jump back in at least for a little bit.
Nice.
No, I guess that's all I have for you. We're running out of time, but thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I hope it was good, and we can have a good relationship from now on.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I keep playing Tetragon. It's a good nighttime game before bed too.
Yeah,
Like just solving a puzzle or two and
yeah,
then going to
yeah.
sleep.
Agree.
For the Switch.
Yeah, it's a good moment to play. Yeah.